The chamber buzzed with tension. Lushengs.com but cutting words. This is why beasts walk alone, and sheep huddle in groups had struck like a blade across the pride of the gathered trainees. Their faces flushed red, fists clenched, whispers turning into curses. One by one, eyes full of anger and resentment turned to him. Some glared with challenge, others with jealousy. He's too arrogant. Who does he think he is? But Lu Sheng ignored them all, his footsteps slow and deliberate as he approached. The first trial chamber. Mounted on the wall, a voice called out through hidden speakers. Trial 1, Combat Efficiency. Objective: defeat all Level 2 mechanized combat dolls. Time limit: 10 minutes. As the stone doors slid open, Lu Sheng stepped in. The room was wide, with smooth metallic flooring and faintly glowing lights embedded in the walls. From several hidden compartments, dozens of mechanical dolls emerged. Tall, humanoid machines, glowing red eyes, reinforced limbs made for speed and destruction. Each one rated Level 2, matching the average combat strength of a certified martial artist. From the observation window above, other trainees watched and murmured, "There's no way he can handle that many alone. He's going to be crushed. Maybe. Now he'll learn some humility." But what happened next silenced them all. Without hesitation, Lu Sheng moved. His body blurred, swift, lethal, precise. In a blink, the first doll was reduced to scattered metal parts. Then another. And another. His fists moved like hammers powered by thunder, his strikes surgically targeting joints, cores, and circuitry. Within moments, he had created a storm of destruction. A blur of mechanical limbs flying through the air. In under 2 minutes, every single doll lay motionless on the ground. Sparks flickered. Smoke rose. Silence. From the viewing gallery, the onlookers stared wide-eyed. One of them gulped. What just happened? Even Lin Shouyu, who had been smirking in anticipation of Lu Sheng's failure, suddenly felt the need to prove himself. Gritting his teeth, he stepped up to the next station with an air of forced confidence. If he can do it, of course I can. But the moment he squared off against a single combat doll, it struck first a powerful blow to his chest. With a loud crack, Lin Shouyu was sent flying backwards like a rag doll, slamming into the wall and losing consciousness instantly. Gasps erupted from the crowd. Even the instructors nearby looked stunned. As others hesitated, not knowing whether to laugh or worry, Lu Sheng stood to the side, expression flat with boredom. "They're too weak," he muttered to himself. "This isn't training. It's playtime." Behind the observation glass, a group of instructors watched the scene unfold. Among them was a silver-haired woman in a sleek combat uniform, her sharp eyes analyzing every move. Xingsu, a battle-hardened warrior known for her ruthlessness and precision, stood with arms crossed. Beside her, lounging casually in a chair, was a man in a simple military jacket, Major Qin, known for his unorthodox ways and blunt honesty. "Anything promising this time?" he asked with a yawn, sipping his tea. Xingsu didn't respond immediately. Her gaze had locked onto one particular monitor feed. Then her eyes narrowed. "Look there," she said coolly. Major Qin leaned forward, and what he saw made him sit up straighter. The footage showed Lu Sheng standing calmly amid a field of broken dolls, his clothes untouched, not even breathing hard. "That kid," Major Qin muttered. "He destroyed all of them, without a scratch." Xingsu tapped the screen. "Even the guards are confused. The doll systems aren't just destroyed, they've been disabled." Methodically, he knew exactly where to hit. That's not brute strength, that's tactical mastery. A beat of silence passed between them. Then Qin chuckled, rubbing his chin. "Well, looks like we found the black tiger among these sheep." Xingsu's lips curled into the faintest hint of a smile. "Yes, let's see how far he can go." The shattered remains of mechanical dolls still sparked faintly as the trial chamber was cleared. Word had already spread among the trainees. Someone had effortlessly crushed the Level 2 combat trial. Whispers turned to awe. Ah turned to fear. Aush turned to fear. Entered the testing zone. One name echoed quietly among them. Lu Sheng. From among the crowd stepped a girl with piercing eyes and an unmistakable air of superiority. Her movements were graceful, honed as if born into martial brilliance. Her name, Shaolin, a prodigy, ranked top in theory, combat simulation, and technique at her academy. She approached the checkpoint. 2 armed instructors blocked the passage, their tone cold. Identification, trial clearance required. Before they could finish, Xiaolin had already stepped past them, her footwork clean and silent like flowing water. With only a twist of her body and the flash of her palm, the security field flickered. "Bypassed entirely. Entry confirmed," muttered the stunned systems guard. Clearance, forced. From above, Lu Sheng, leaning quietly against a wall near the viewing window, watched out. Their eyes met. In that moment, Xia Lin froze. A wave of cold washed over her, not from the temperature, but from the strange, terrifying stillness in Lu Sheng's eyes. It was not hatred, not anger. It was nothing, a void, as if his gaze had seen death so often that life itself no longer impressed him. She took a step back instinctively. Her hands trembled. What is that? Feeling up before she could recover, an instructor stepped forward to correct her action. She panicked. Mistaking him for a threat, she struck him with full force, sending the man crashing into the wall. Gasps broke out from the staff. What the hell? Xia Lin, face red, realized her mistake too late. That's when Lu Sheng stepped forward, voice calm, but unmistakably firm. You overreacted. He was doing his job. His tone was neutral, but it echoed like a rebuke through the air. I'm Lu Sheng, he added simply. Xia Lin's eyes widened. She took another step back. He's the one. The one who cleared the dolls with a glance. Up above in the control chamber, Xingsu continued, watching. Her eyes narrowed. Without warning, she stepped out of the command zone and descended to the arena floor. The air tensed as the silver-haired warrior approached Lu Sheng directly. No words, no greetings. She stood before him and released it. A crushing aura, a pressure of pure battle intent and cultivated energy. It pulsed like a wave of thunder, aiming to force him to his knees. Many others nearby stumbled or gasped, but Lu Sheng, he didn't even blink. Tada's breathing remained steady, his posture relaxed, his gaze unfazed. Xingzu's eyebrow twitched, just slightly. Then she nodded once and turned her back. Trial 1 passed, she announced. Later that evening, the cafeteria at the training camp buzzed with conversation. Long steel tables were lined with trays of hot, fragrant food, a rare luxury in most martial institutions. But tonight, the feast was grand. Sizzling meats, steamed dumplings, bowls of rice, spicy broths, and exotic fruits. Lu Sheng sat down, alone, and began eating. And eating. One tray after another disappeared before him, each meal devoured with mechanical efficiency. Onlookers stared in disbelief. That's his 5th serving. No, it's his 7th. Even the kitchen staff peeked out in amazement, whispering, does this guy have a bottomless stomach? But Lu Sheng just wiped his mouth and stood up seconds. Just then, a large shadow loomed over the room. A muscular figure easily twice the size of most trainees entered with heavy steps. Behind him walked a calm young man with a kind face. Yuan, another test participant. He walked over to Lu Sheng, raising a hand in casual greeting. I saw what you did in the trial. Impressive, Yuan said sincerely. I figured I should introduce myself before the next round. Lu Sheng gave a polite nod. Yuan pointed at the ranking board nearby. Each trial gives us points. Accumulate enough, and you qualify for graduation. An elite selection, the combat evaluation, survival trial, team synergy, they all count. Lu Sheng glanced briefly at the board. He wasn't interested in ranks. He was interested in strength. The list of current leading candidates appeared on the large monitor in the hall. Chao Yung, 11,200 PTS, Meng Jinhun, to 10,950. PTS Shaolin, 10,700 PTS, Lu Sheng, classified system anomaly. People whispered at the last name. Classified. What does that mean? Back in the corner of the hall, Shaylin turned and saw Lu Sheng again. Her eyes widened, her breath caught in her throat, her hand trembled slightly. Why? Why is he looking this way again? But Lu Sheng wasn't even looking at her, was already walking out of the cafeteria, silently, focused, ready for the next challenge, because to him, this was just the beginning. The cafeteria's warm air still lingered with the aroma of cooked meats and broths. Lu Sheng sat across from Yuan, the female trainee who had approached him earlier with a mix of curiosity and respect. Her demeanor was friendly, though with a cautious admiration. After witnessing what Lu Sheng had accomplished during the trials, they continued their conversation in low voices. Yuan excitedly recounting what she had heard from the inner circles of the trainees. There was another lunatic, she whispered, her tone half amused, half serious. Someone who went berserk during the trial and ended up destroying a section of the exam hall, even assaulted one of the instructors. Lu Sheng remained neutral, quietly listening as he sipped the remaining broth from his bowl. Yuan leaned in slightly, unaware of what was about to happen. Suddenly, 3 uniformed guards entered the cafeteria. Their presence drew attention immediately, and their eyes were fixed solely on Lu Sheng. The room fell quiet. They approached his table and, without hostility, informed him that he was to follow them. They needed to ask a few questions. Yuan's expression shifted. Only then did she realize what she had just said moments before. Her eyes widened in disbelief and embarrassment as the implications hit her. The lunatic she had just spoken of was Lu Sheng himself. She wanted to speak, to take back her words, but it was too late. Lu Sheng stood up calmly, not a trace of emotion on his face, and followed the guards without protest. Inside the command room, the atmosphere was much heavier. She stood before him, arms crossed, her silver hair catching the sharp overhead lighting. The monitors behind her displayed broken machinery, shattered walls, and injured staff, all from the earlier combat test. Without raising her voice, she informed Lu Sheng that his trial had resulted in significant collateral damage. His blows had not only disabled the machines, but wrecked structural integrity and shorted several circuits. While it had not technically broken any rules, it had thrown the camp's logistics into disarray. Lu Sheng accepted her reprimand silently. There was no defense, only fact. Soon after, a camp-wide announcement was made. All candidates were to assemble in the central hall. The next phase of evaluation required that they hand in their trial point cards used to track their performance. Across multiple tests, the hall buzzed with motion as trainees lined up. Screens above displayed names and rankings in real time, updating as each candidate registered their data. When it was Lu Sheng's turn to step forward, murmurs spread across the room. Many were still unsure about his true capabilities. Others doubted whether he had passed legitimately. Among the crowd, one voice rose in objection. Chao Yang, one of the highest-ranking participants, stepped out from the line. His jaw was tight, posture aggressive. He didn't trust the scores Lu Sheng had obtained, scores that oddly were not fully displayed on the main board. That level of classification made him suspicious, or perhaps it threatened his pride. He accused Lu Sheng of sabotage, claiming that the damage he had caused was part of a larger scheme to hide his lack of skill. And in front of everyone, he challenged Lu Sheng to a demonstration. If Lu Sheng truly had the strength that others whispered about, he should prove it now. Lu Sheng did not argue. He stepped forward quietly, without resistance, and stood before Chao Yang, who prepared himself with a proud smirk. Muscles tensed. The crowd waited, tensed at then. Without warning, Lu Sheng extended his finger and flicked. A single, casual flick of his finger struck Chao Yang's chest. The result was immediate and catastrophic. Chao Yang's body flew backwards at an angle, as if launched by a cannon. He crashed through the thick reinforced wall of the training hall, creating a massive crater of broken concrete and dust, before slumping unconscious to the ground. The room went completely silent. No one moved, not even the guards. Mouths hung open. Even those who had seen Lu Sheng fight before had not expected this level of effortless power. It hadn't even been a punch, just a flick. Lu Sheng stood calmly, brushing invisible dust from his sleeve before walking away. He had nothing to prove, and yet had proven more than enough. Xingsu, watching from above, narrowed her eyes. Her evaluation of Lu Sheng had just risen several levels higher. Whatever he wasn't normal. Not anymore. And now, no one doubted it. The hall still echoed with silence after what had just occurred. Chao Yang, once one of the most confident and high-ranking participants, now lay embedded in the wall like a cracked statue. The crowd had not yet processed the sheer ease with which Lu Sheng had sent him flying with just a flick. Gasps turned into stunned murmurs. Even the instructors who were overseeing the evaluations exchanged tense glances. A moment later, one of the senior instructors stepped forward. His tone now soft and respectful. He extended an offer to Lu Sheng, an invitation for personal mentorship directly under the chief instructor. It was a rare privilege, one extended only to the most elite candidates in previous years. But Lu Sheng's response surprised everyone. Without hesitation, he politely declined. "I'm going to sleep," he said. A wave of confusion swept through the hall. Sleep. A few trainees chuckled, thinking it was a sarcastic joke. Others scoffed, assuming Lu Sheng was too arrogant to take the opportunity seriously. But no one truly understood the meaning behind his words. None of them knew about the realm Lu Sheng entered when he closed his eyes. Later, in the instructor's command room, a conversation unfolded between the camp's senior staff. Several instructors recalled a past candidate, someone from a previous year who had also displayed overwhelming strength and arrogance. A youth who had crushed the competition with inhuman force. That trainee, like Lu Sheng, had once defied logic and overwhelmed every challenge. Could he be like him? one instructor asked. Possibly stronger, another murmured. Meanwhile, Lu Sheng lay in his quarters, eyes closed, breathing steady, but he wasn't resting. He had once again entered the realm of dreams, the ancient battlefield that bridged 10,000 years of martial wisdom. In this world, Lu Sheng was not limited by the pace of physical training. Here, time flowed differently. Days, even weeks, could pass in mere moments of real-world time. Before him, hordes of zombies and monstrous entities emerged from the mist. With each confrontation, Lu Sheng moved faster, struck harder, and adapted more swiftly than ever before. This was his forge, his personal crucible of evolution. But tonight, Lu Sheng wasn't satisfied with repetition. He focused his energy inward, determined to break through to a higher plane of martial perception. His goal? To tap into the elusive visual technique realm, one of the most advanced forms of sensory and battlefield awareness, known to martial artists. The process was grueling. He pushed his consciousness, visualized every layer of enemy movement, predicted trajectories, calculated breath cycles, and anticipated feints before they were made. The world slowed. Lines of attack revealed themselves like glowing threads in the air. And then, it happened. A sudden flash, a breakthrough. His eyes opened within the dream, but now they saw differently. The battlefield wasn't chaos anymore. It was a structured rhythm of predictable motion. Lu Sheng had penetrated the first threshold of the visual realm. Even he was stunned by the clarity it brought. The technique granted him an upper hand, even against the tide of monstrous beings. He could now read the battlefield like a master reading a familiar book. He wasn't just reacting, he was controlling. When he paused, Lu Sheng summoned his status panel, the internal measure of his progress in this world. The numbers flickered, and then displayed. Stage martial artist. Tier 7, he stared at the number, a sense of satisfaction rising in his chest. Not long ago, Tier 7 had seemed distant, but now, he stood on its precipice, and he wasn't done yet. Not even close. He quickly began strategizing new routines, new ways to refine his efficiency. Luckily, the AI system that governed the dream realm provided him with simulations and data projections, helping him compare training routes and predict energy expenditure. With the aid of this silent guide, Lu Sheng began planning his next step toward mastery, not just to be the best in the training camp, but to ascend beyond any martial artist in the real world. Within the dream realm, Lu Sheng stood before a newly unlocked archive, one etched with ancient runes and pulsating with power. Divine radiance, underworld scripture. As he absorbed the contents of the archive, a surge of raw, almost divine, energy coursed through him. It wasn't just a technique, it was an entire system of cellular refinement, designed to activate dormant genes, stimulate every inch of the human body, and push physical and mental limits far beyond ordinary understanding. Each sentence held an oppressive brilliance, a density of knowledge far superior to anything he had read before. His body trembled not from fear, but from the sheer magnitude of its transformative potential. But with awe came questions. If humans in the future had access to such powerful techniques, why were they still defeated? Why were there still catastrophes? Lu Sheng's thoughts sharpened. He concluded, grimly, then the enemies must have been far stronger than I imagined. The monsters, the threats that came after 10,000 years of evolution, were clearly beyond the limits of comprehension, and even this divine technique might not be enough in the end. Back in the real world, a month passed at the training camp. One figure was rising rapidly, Xiaolin. With incredible speed and discipline, she had advanced far beyond her peers. Her performance caught the eyes of every instructor, and even Xingsu, known for her cold, measured praise, offered her acknowledgement. You've grown impressively, Xiaolin, she said, but something is still missing. There was a subtle hole of fear within Xiaolin's heart, a psychological scar that was holding her back from full potential. When asked to identify the source of her fear, Xiaolin fell silent. But in truth, she already knew. That day in the test room, the moment her eyes met Lu Sheng's gaze, she had felt something primal. It wasn't just intimidation. It was as if she stood before a predator, and she the prey. Xingsu advised her to confront that fear directly, even if she didn't yet know how. Meanwhile, murmurs about Lu Sheng spread through the camp like wildfire. Participants mocked him, claiming he was lazy, arrogant, and wasting his talent by sleeping through days of training. Even among the instructors, doubts began to take root. Perhaps he was a one-time spark, one murmured. Too undisciplined to last, another said. But Yuan, the sharp and observant female trainee who had once spoken with Lu Sheng, refused to believe the rumors. No, she whispered to herself, watching him from a distance. He's not sleeping, he's preparing. Her instincts told her that Lu Sheng was not wasting time, but rather doing something far beyond anyone's understanding. He simply operated in a world they couldn't see. Elsewhere on the training grounds, Chao Yang, still simmering from the humiliation he suffered at Lu Sheng's hands, attempted to reclaim his pride. He stepped onto the gravity training platform, where one could increase personal gravity to hone muscle and bone strength. Most participants couldn't even handle double gravity. Chao Yang went straight to 4 times normal gravity. His body strained and shook, sweat pouring as he roared to endure the pressure. A small crowd gathered, impressed by his perseverance. But even then, many of them found their eyes drifting toward the barracks, toward the quiet room where Lu Sheng lay asleep. Back in the dream world, Lu Sheng had begun applying the Divine Radiance underworld scripture. He visualized the structure of every muscle fiber, every strand of DNA, every latent potential within his cells. He restructured his breathing, channeling inner energy in precise waves through his nervous system. With this method, he accelerated regeneration, enhanced brain efficiency, and laid the foundation for bodily evolution far beyond the capabilities of modern martial artists. The pain was unbearable at first, as if each cell was being melted and REFORGED, but he endured it with calm resolve. He understood something most others didn't. While others train hours, I train lifetimes, and it was only the beginning.